Hello everybody and welcome to Let Them Play. I'm your host Tony Fiorino and it is Sunday, February 6th. Well, it was on this day exactly 10 years ago that my lovely wife gave birth to our youngest daughter, Dominique, who is actually sitting out in the lobby with us this morning. So, Nikki, happy birthday, sweetheart. Daddy loves you very much. And by the way, if you ever wonder just how much Daddy loves you, remember this. Today is also Super Bowl Sunday, the day my beloved Steelers bring home their unprecedented 7th Vince Lombardi Trophy. And how am I going to be spending the day today? I'm heading down to Manhattan to watch Mary Poppins. Mary freaking Poppins. I'm not planting my butt on the couch and watching every Steelers highlight you could ever possibly imagine. Nope. I'm not going down to Somers 202 with my buddies to watch the game. I'm still working on that one. I am going to be spending the afternoon singing Chim Chim Cheree with a bunch of freaking Mongos who have no idea just how sacred this day is. And why? Why, you may ask? Because my wife, who is no better, bought these tickets around Christmas time because they were such a bargain. Want to know why they were such a bargain? Mima's actually here in the studio with you. Want to know why they were such a bargain? Because it's Super Bowl Sunday, and nobody in their right mind wants to spend Super Bowl Sunday listening to why a spoonful of sugar helps the freaking medicine go down. On top of that, she's trying to tell me, just this morning, oh, you shouldn't wear your Steelers jersey to the play because it's a special day and we're celebrating Nikki's birthday and we're going to do. You are nuts. You are nuts, okay? I tell you, the whole family is here in the studio today, and I hope you guys all remember this one because you all owe me, and you all owe me big time. I know it's Nikki's birthday, and I love her and all, but I mean, not that much, right? I mean, all right, listen, enough of that, at least for now. I've already opened up the phone lines this morning at 914-693-5700 because you're all probably wondering what the topic is this week. Well, this past week, a journalist by the name of Ian St. Clair of the Wyoming Tribune-Eagle wrote a terrific piece about an accomplished young gymnast that I found fascinating. I found the article online while I was doing my research during the week, as I always do, and when I read it, I was feeling just great about youth sports while I was reading the article. Now, every once in a while, you find a story that makes you say, hey, maybe everybody isn't a Mongo, and maybe there are still some folks out there who get it. Well, anyway, at the end of the article, I quickly got my dose of sports parenting reality when I started to read some of the reactions to this article. At first, I was kind of confused, but shortly, it all started to make some sense, or at least as much sense as it could possibly make. If you were up on the blog this week, you had a chance to read the article. As a matter of fact, if you want to read it now before calling in, just go to the blog. It's www.heycoachtony.com, and make sure you call us in the studio at 914-693-5700. I'm not going to read the articles because I just don't want to waste time reading this thing on the air. But in short, this article outlines a 9-year-old girl who competes in gymnastics at level 6. And she made it all the way to states and won. Now, if you have kids who happen to be gymnasts, and this is not a gymnastics story, but if you have kids who are gymnasts, as I used to, you know that this is actually a pretty big deal, especially for a 9-year-old girl. Now, anyway, it turns out that the parents of the other gymnasts in this particular school, well, they took particular exception to the particular accolades that this particular girl was receiving, and even went so far as to insinuate that it was at the expense of their own daughters, and that these other girls weren't getting, and I do quote, the recognition that they deserved. Well, the reactions from these Mongo parents out in Wyoming obviously sickened me, but the whole notion got me to thinking, what exactly do these girls, or for that matter, any other young athlete, what do they actually deserve? I mean, really, think about it. Just because some guy comes into the gym to write a story in the paper, does that mean that your kid deserves anything? Well, once my anger subsided, actually subsided, I was pretty pleased because, you know what, this story, whether Ian St. Clair meant to or not, Ian pinpointed a major problem in youth sports that I have not really focused on yet. Here's the deal. I always wonder, and we always talk about on the show, parents who live vicariously through their kids and how out of whack some of our perspectives can be as parents. But the specific twist in this story, I'm telling you, it shined a really bright light on it. So I wanted to address it this week. I know some of you read the articles, and I want to hear what you think about it. So again, we have opened up the studio lines at 914-693-5700. And when you hear what some of these idiots had to say, you're going to want to call in with something in particular. But understand, I'm interested not just in your reactions to the statements and this specific story, but I'm also the parallels that can be drawn outside of gymnastics and pertain to all these other sports, because I know that there are plenty. You know what? Let's start getting right into the calls right now. Matter of fact, we're going to go to Larry, who is in on line 3. Hey, Larry, you're on Let Them Play. What's going on? Larry? Do we have Larry or do we not have Larry?
We do have Larry.
We do have Larry? Well, we're going to figure out Larry in just a second. We'll give you 2 more seconds. All right. While Adam is figuring out Larry, I'm going to actually give you some of the posts that went up on the story this week. And Larry, if for some reason we lost you, please call back into the studio lines. I want to take your call. Again, it's 914-693-5700. But the reactions to this article started coming in. Matter of fact, the one that started the whole ball rolling for me came in from someone who calls herself Doink. And I don't know why, but Doink wrote, and I quote, "The paper was contacted prior to this by a parent to have them do an article about the level 6 team winning states in Evanston this last year.
Yeah,
Why didn't the reporter mention to Mary McKee, who Mary McKee is, by the way, the coach in this case, and also the mother of the young girl, why didn't the reporter mention to Mary McKee that this was to be a story about the team and not just one individual, her daughter? But shame on Mary McKee for letting the story be reported this way. A pure act of selfishness. Mary, go stand in the corner." No. You know what, Doink? You go stand in the corner. Because after reading this, your name shouldn't be Doink. It should be Dork. Because that is some true stupidity that is rolling off your keyboard. And I know Adam is right now, let me guess, Offended in White Plains is on the line, right? And I can't say dork anymore. I got to say the D word, right? Well, if you really think about what this woman is saying, it's pretty stupid. It's great. Mary McKee as the coach, I'm sure she has quite a bit of pull, but I don't know if she has enough pull to say, hey, here's what you better write the story about. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. All right, you know what? All right, we're going to go back to your calls in a second, but we're going to have to go to break first. Remember, we're going to keep the studio lines open at 914-693-5700. But for those of you, by the way, who are unaware, there have been a ton of changes on my website, www.heycoachtony.com. In addition to commenting on various topics during the week on the blog, you can now follow me on Twitter. You can join Coach Tony's Mongo Nation. You can download Coach Tony ringtones, including the infamous R-word ringtone. You can buy my book, which is called Kids in Sports, a tactical guide for parents and coaches. And you can even watch previous episodes of Let Them Play in HD up on my YouTube channel. So please check out all the new stuff on my website by visiting www.heycoachtony.com. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.